Hello, this is the weekly water outlook for the southern U.S. I'm John Felt. Well, this is that jet stream that I've been mentioning for the last couple weeks. A couple weeks ago it was highly amplified. This week it's not quite as much, but still there's the core of high pressure over the southern region across Texas, Oklahoma, and surrounding states. The core of jet stream energy is well to our north, and you all know what this means. This means well below normal chances of rain and above normal temperatures. I did want to show you this week, we did have a tap of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico that moved up into the southeast U.S. Did want to mention it got somewhat close to the south. It brushed across Louisiana, but it really did stay off to our east. You can see it. Another picture here, you can see that they came in actually all the way from the Pacific up at upper levels. And when you get that feed of upper moisture from the Pacific, low moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, you get a lot of rain. And the southeast U.S. definitely got a lot of rain over the last week. So if you look at the big picture here, you can see the only area last week that really received significant rain was parts of the southeast U.S. That's that area in red. But here in our region over the south, just light amounts of rain for the most part. Just scattered areas of about a ½ inch in very small areas of Texas, but significant amounts received no rain whatsoever near Dallas and east of Dallas. And even the rain that did occur was very light, on the order of a ½ inch, ¼ inch, or only a tenth of an inch. So I think it's fair to say very little rain over the last 7 days. So from a surplus or deficit standpoint, looks like another inch of moisture was lost that's going to need to be made up at some time. And I'd sure like to see some signs that we're going to begin to make that up in the near future, but I really don't see it right now at all. If we look at the past 30 days, it doesn't look much better. You can see that dark red, and that's 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, less than normal for that time. So we really lost a lot of moisture over large parts of Oklahoma and Texas and Kansas and even Arkansas over the last 30 days. If you look at the number of rain days over the last 30 days, that brown is only 2 or 3 over the last 30 days. So you can see there's only been a handful of days where it's rained. South Texas had that rainy period, so a little bit more, and that's that area of west and south parts of Texas, but a very large core here. What you can see here, very large core of only 2 or 3 days of rain over the last 30. The number of consecutive dry days, that's looking at it another way. You can look at, we have 20 days or more over that region of consecutive dry days, and it's really getting into a very large stretch in here, and that's why the drought impacts are beginning to accelerate again over the south. Soil moisture anomalies, like you might expect, are becoming very significant over large parts of our region. The only reason over eastern Oklahoma it's still somewhat considered close to normal is because it's been such a wet spring into early summer, and even that's beginning to dry out very quickly now. The rest of the area has been dry. It looks like soils are even getting drier from where we currently are. Now, if we look at the drought outlook, you can see we're getting some of that dark brown, exceptional drought over parts of Texas. It is beginning to expand again. And you would expect some expansion over the summer months in many cases, but I think this goes beyond just what you would climatologically get from a normal standpoint. So the entire state of Texas is in some degree of drought, and more is getting into a D2, D3, or D4 drought. Now this image up towards the top here, what I have there is the change in the drought monitor in the last 4 weeks. And if you look at that area of brown, that's a 2 or even a 3 category decrease in or increase in the drought. So that's saying that over this area right here, there was very significant increase in drought impacts over the last 4 weeks. So how much rain is needed to get things sort of back to normal from a Palmer Drought Index standpoint? And this was actually just last updated the 29th of June, so when it's updated again, it'll even be worse. But you can see 9 to 12 inches now, and even, and man, I hate to even say this, over 12 inches of rain. So Texas is extremely dry. Western Oklahoma extremely dry. Western Kansas extremely dry. And the eastern parts of Oklahoma and Kansas are in a bit better shape, but that's also going in the wrong direction with the recent dry weather. Now, I did want to, from time to time, point out the tropics because there is the possibility at some point that we could get some tropical moisture. And I showed you that we had this area of disturbed weather, but the jet stream is pulling that off to our east, so I don't think that's going to be causing too much other than some clouds or maybe isolated showers along the coast. We have another system that has a better chance of developing way out in the Atlantic, but right now it looks like steering winds with that are going to bring it due west, at least for the foreseeable future. So I think right now it's nothing that we need to think about as far as getting any moisture in the area, but I will definitely be keeping an eye on it over this week. So this week, same old story. Ridge of high pressure in the west, bowing to the north. That's going to be mainly dry conditions over the south. Temperatures above normal, precipitation below normal. Could be some scattered showers here and there, especially early this week, but I think they're going to be very widespread, and I think it'll remain below normal precipitation, even in areas that get some of these spotty showers. A 6 to 10 day, I wish I could give you better news. It still looks like that ridge is going to be quasi-stationary over our area. I don't really think this is good news, but the dashed lines there, the purple means zero anomaly one way or the other. So it is saying that at least that ridge of high pressure is sort of typical for our summertime over our region. It's not going to be unusually intense, and that would say that temperatures then would be not unusually above normal. Now, having said that, I think they'll be warmer than normal just because of the dry conditions that we have. So the next 7 days, as far as the rainfall forecast goes, some of that moisture I mentioned could hug the coast from the Gulf of Mexico. But other than that, it looks extremely dry over the south region for the next 7 days, with very large parts of Texas and Oklahoma receiving no rain whatsoever. Consequently, soil moisture will be continue to drying out. I know there's not a whole lot to get out of the ground anymore, and that's why the readings are beginning to get less and less, but still it looks like it will be drying out. Now, the 6 to 10 day outlook and the 8 to 14 day outlook is somewhat complicated. There's some signs that an upper low that is over the eastern U.S. could drift west. If that's the case, that'll be interesting to see what it does. But right now, I think it's a very highly questionable forecast, so I'm going to sort of stick with the model guidance right now. And that's saying just some scattered type showers in the 6 to 10 day period. Still, I think the predominant trend would be on the dry side. And then this is an 8 to 14 day forecast. I think it's way out there. I think the models have been low confidence this time of year. But if that low does drift off to the west, there is a chance of enhancing some precipitation. But I think that'll be the very earliest that we'd have any chance of precipitation perhaps getting back to normal. Until that time, very dry. So the takeaway points, I wish I had better news. Drought conditions will continue to intensify. Hot and dry week, and actually until further notice, looks like it'll be below normal precipitation and overall weak summertime pattern. I'll be speaking to you again next week. If you have any questions, you can always email me, John at bluewateroutlook.com.